All righty. It's 6:30. This message might not be for everybody today, but here we are. It's 6:30. It's time to get a little sharper. Welcome to the Anti-Negativity Network. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good week so far. Um, yeah, we're here to make it happen. So,
Hello, everyone.
hey, yeah, yeah. So, kind of a rush a little bit. We're getting back on the set, but we're here. And so we're just thankful to God for another opportunity to come on here and talk with y'all. And we're going to continue to roll in First Kings and see what we can learn today as we continue on this journey to continue to seek wisdom. We want to get that knowledge, but we want some wisdom to go along with it. And so we just taking a deeper dive into the life of Solomon. And so, he was the wisest king of them all. And so felt like it'd be a good time to listen and sit down and read a little bit about Solomon, see what we can learn that we can take with us. All right, as we always do, before we get started, let's do this. Count of three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. All right. So, did you need to go get that? Or are you good?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. I'm good. Y'all see who's with me. So, my doctor wife is here with me. And so, we're going to continue to flow on down First Kings. We're going to hang out in chapter 4 today. And, it's just continuing on the cycle, not the cycle, the story, I should say, of Solomon as he's the king of Israel, and he's just beginning to, put more of his stamp on it, right? He's been named the king, and he's just putting his stamp on it, right? Hey, Tanisha. Hey, Mama Jane. Hope you're doing well. So he continues on with that. And, with this right here, like I say, this might not be for everyone, but I really believe it is for everyone, and we can get something out of it. Because while our life might not be as grandiose as his, being the king of Israel, but in our own right, we are kings and queens, right? We are kings and queens, right? We kings and queens,
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. So that means we are in charge of something. Okay. That means we're in position to be able to handle things. We're in position to call some shots. We're in position to make some things happen. And so we need to begin to understand that we need to start operating in what we were destined to be, what we were called to be, right? And so that's the reason why I think this is something for all of us, right? And quite honestly, I always try to be as open and honest with you as I possibly can. I don't come here acting like I know it all, or I'm learning just like y'all are. I just so happen to be the mouthpiece right now. But trust and believe everything that I'm reading. Guess who got to deal with it before I even give it to y'all? Okay? So please understand. I'm looking at Ron in chapter 4 as well. I'm called to be greater. I'm called to be a king, right? So why am I not operating in that? That's the reason why we got to get into the word and get some understanding, get some wisdom. And why not read about the wisest king of them all? So that's what we're doing right now. And in this situation right here, I shouldn't say situation, in this story, in the life of Solomon, now he's, beginning to really set up shop and put people in place that he needs to help him be able to run his kingdom, right? He's the king. He's in charge, but he also understands he can't do it all. Okay? He can't do it all. Quite simply, we can relate to this to the president of the United States. We can relate it to our own, to the company we work for. It has a CEO, but how many of y'all really come in contact with the CEO of your company? A lot of times you're dealing with some supervisors that are maybe 3, 4, 5 layers down, right? She's do some work at MCV. Every now and then she might get in contact with the CEO, but that's very, very seldom, right? Why? Because there's layers, there's other people that's handling that because the CEO is so focused on other areas, that he can't do it all or she can't do it all, right? And so that's what we have right here is with Solomon setting up shop. Come on, man.
Oh, no, it just reminded me, I had an opportunity to go and listen to President Barack Obama, and they asked him, what did he attribute to his success? And he said, because he surrounded himself around smart women. He said that's what made him successful. Just putting a plug in for the women today.
See, I'm gonna put her off the set. No, I mean, the reality is, God has given us all gifts. He's given us all talents. He's given us things that we are really good at. And it's up to the leader to recognize who they are and put them in the proper place. Okay? Male or female. If they qualified and they the right one for the job, put them in place. Right? And that's what he did right here. He started surrounding himself with the people that he knew that he could trust, that he knew he could count on to do what needed to be done. Okay? Now, at least that's what he knew from up the beginning. Okay? Now, sometimes, as we all know, as being a leader, sometimes the people you put in place don't mean that's always going to be the ones that stay in place. Okay? Trust and believe. Barack Obama had to make some changes to some of them folk he put in place in the beginning. Right? Okay. But it's up to the leader to also recognize when it's time to make that change. Okay? So we get with Solomon right here. I mean, he put people in place. First thing, he put some priests in place. So he knew he had to make sure he had some folk that's in his ear that's going to make sure he stay right with the one who put him in that position, which was God, right? So he started to, now he might have, that's later on down the road. He might have messed up a little bit down the road, but we're going to talk about that later on down the road. But initially he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He got himself some priests. He put some priests in, but he also got some secretaries. He even had an attorney. Well, he was an attorney and a what they call him, a recorder, but he was a mixture of attorney and the paperwork guy and whatever he did a little bit of everything, right? But he just read chapter 4 and it tells you all the people that he put in place. He even put somebody that was in charge of he was commander of the army. Okay. And he had somebody that was in charge of forced labor. Okay. Yeah. Slavery.
And district governors.
Okay. Now, district governors. Now I'm going to get to that part right there. Mm-hmm. But I just want you to begin to see he was setting up shop. You are the CEO. You the king. You the queen. When it's time to set up shop, make sure that you are looking for the right people to put in place to help you build the thing that you're called to build. To grow the thing that you're called to grow. You can't do it all alone. That's the first thing I want us to get out of this, okay? That sometimes we are going to need help. We try to do it all on ourselves. We try to take on the whole burden, and we just wonder why this is not working, wondering why we can't get to that next level. But you're going to need some help. And Solomon, in his wisdom, realized, I am the king, but I can't do this alone. I am going to need help. Come on, babe. Yes, sir?
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, I thought you had something you wanted to say. But anyway, let's go here. So now we're going to keep on going. Might not be before you this long because we might just hang on chapter 4 tonight. Because chapter 5, I also was thinking about adding to this. And we might. I don't know. We're going to see how this flows. But the next thing that we want to get to right here is she just talked about it. Some district governors. Okay. And he had 12 district governors that he put in place. Okay. I think it's pretty ironic that he picked 12. Okay. Because not only did he have 12 district governors, but there was 12 months. Right. And as you read, not only did he put 12 governors in place of the districts, but each one was responsible for covering the food or making sure that the kingdom was taken care of for a full month. So basically what he did, he gave them a position, but said, hey, here's your position. I'm putting you in charge of all of this right here, but you still got to pay for this back here. And you pay for this by making sure that the kingdom is taken care of. My kingdom, right? That what it said?
Absolutely.
That's what it said. Read it for yourself. I always tell you, read it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Read 1 Kings chapter 4. He put the district governors in place, but each month each one was assigned a month to make sure that the kingdom was taken care of. And pretty much what happened was they were feeding all the folk, including all of Solomon's household. And you'll learn that Solomon's household was not small. Okay, he had a lot of folk all across the kingdom that he was taking care of. It was not a small amount. Matter of fact, I did a little research, and can you imagine this? This is per day. 1,620 gallons of flour, 3,240 grains. Gallons of grain. So altogether, you're looking at over 4,800 gallons of grain and flour each day. That's not even counting the cattle and the livestock and the fowl and all the the chickens and the beef and the goats and all of that. So people was eating good every day, and each district was responsible for that. So what did I get out of that? Okay, what I got out of that is that he said, okay, I'm putting you in place, but you still got to pay in this manner. And the way you paying is that you got to take care of the folk for this particular month. You taking care of not only my household, but you taking care of basically Israel and making sure our folk don't go hungry. And it says how they ate and they drank and they were happy about it. Now, I don't think all of them was just eating and drinking, because remember, you did have someone that was in charge of forced labor. So some folk were still doing some work. Okay. But what Solomon was doing was that he put people in place, but let them know that I'm putting you in place, but you're not just going to sit around and get lazy and think that everything is taken care of. No, you got to go put some work in, because those other 11 months that you're not taking care of, what you're doing is storing up or restoring, or you're growing, or you're doing something, you're cultivating, you're doing something so that when the next month come around, you'll have enough to take care of the kingdom. So it was a cycle that he was producing, thinking like a CEO, thinking like he making boss moves, right? He's letting you know, look, I'm gonna put you in position, but this is what I expect from you. And now, instead of him having to worry about how he's gonna feed all the folk, the district managers are taking care of it. That sounds like some corporate America stuff. That sounds like some franchises or something going on. What that sound like to you? That sound like franchise to me. But what can we get out of this? This is the Bible, and it's giving us practical things that we actually see all day, every day. That if we really take the time to apply the principles to our life, we might be able to get over some of these hurdles that we've been running into and tripping over and haven't been able to clear quite yet. It's a mindset. And the way for us to cultivate this mind is that we got to read this word. That's the reason why I said, don't be scared of this Bible. Don't be scared of the Bible. The Bible is going to hit you upside the head with a few things, but it's also here to help you understand basic principles that we can use to move our life in a better direction, a stronger direction, a direction that we really desire for it to be.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things I get out of here is that he was teaching the principle of, sharing the wealth.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what made him wise and a great king. he took into consideration everybody.
Yeah.
And he paid special attention to the poor as well. And he shared the wealth. And as a result, everybody was living, good and in peace with each other.
And that's another good piece right there. Then you talk about living in peace because, and this is, I said I won't go in chapter 5, but I'm beginning to inch over there. But before I go to chapter 5, understanding that because he asked God for wisdom. Remember, that started in a dream, okay? And he had that wisdom. And that wisdom that he received was so grand that even the kings from other countries were sending people to go talk to him. The kings were coming, and he was sending people. The kings were sending their folk to go talk to him, to hear from him. He had so much wisdom, he could sit down and talk about any and everything. Whether it was things dealing on the earth, dealing things with in the water. We're talking about plants, trees, whatever you want to talk about, he could talk about it because God gave him that much wisdom about so many things that it can't even really be explained. Okay. And so because of that, he understood, because of the wisdom that he had, he understood the power of not only his words, but he also understood the power of what she just said, sharing the wealth, making sure everybody was taken care of, everybody was able to live in peace, simply because he was seeking God for wisdom to understand, how do I take what you have given me to make it the best for everybody?
Yeah, it's like when we get our Christmas bonuses, that gives us incentive to go another year. Sharing the wealth.
Anybody who's ever got a bonus, that did give you a little pep in your step, right? Not saying that you absolutely went from liking your job to loving it, but you're like, okay, I can push a little bit further now, right? And so, but I just want us to get some of the basic principles out of this right here. Now, we're not trying to make it all deep and spooky. We try to just make it trying my best just to make this as simple as it possibly can. These principles that we're getting from Solomon and how he was going about setting up his kingdom and using what God gave him, which was wisdom. Him simply using the wisdom that God gave him allowed him to put not only himself in a good position, but put other people in a good position where they felt comfortable, where they felt like they were doing something to aid the kingdom. Okay? Everybody played a part in the kingdom.
And they felt like they mattered.
They mattered.
Yeah.
They felt like they mattered.
That is right? Such a good feeling.
I'm sure y'all can relate to that. When you felt like you was in a position where you felt like you mattered, it made it a lot easier for you to go do it. But if they felt like you don't really need you, did you really want to feel? Did you feel warm and fuzzy about being a part of that? I think that's some of the other things that some of that other wisdom that Solomon had, understanding that me putting people in place not only is helping me, but it's helping them as well. And everybody got a chance to get a piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think I'm just going to end right there because I want to go to chapter 5 so bad, but I'll be on here for another 30 minutes. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down because I'm getting excited about this. But I just really hope that you just understood and you got something out of this. And really just think about it. Please read chapter 4. Okay. Chapter 5 still kind of, it flows right into 4 and 5 kind of flow together with me. Okay. And I'll explain more of that, Lord willing, next week. But chapter 4, I want you to read chapter 4. Okay. And just take your time and read it and get the principles out of this. He's showing you that I can't do this alone, even though I'm the king and God has given me all the wisdom that he could possibly give. I'm sure God can give him even more, but God gave him so much wisdom that people from everywhere came to hear from him.
He also, with that wisdom, he composed 3,000 proverbs. If you read the book of Proverbs, that's Solomon. Solomon wrote those, and 1,005 songs.
Now imagine you writing down over 3,000 proverbs and 1,005 songs. Yeah, just think about that. That's a lot. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you this. Hey Sean, we are in the book of First Kings. First Kings chapter 4. We're talking about First Kings chapter 4 tonight. Hey Rick, so I'm glad you said that, because there's another reason why I'm glad she's with me, because she keeps me on task. Because I actually had that note about his proverbs and his songs, and that just showed you how much wisdom that he had. There was so much in chapter 4. I don't know I can really do it justice, but please just take your time, read chapter 4, and just get out of it the fact that he understood that he couldn't do it alone. He had to put the right people in place to help him grow, to help him build, to help him take care of the people. And as a result of him putting the right people in place, they felt like they were needed. They felt like they were a part of something big, something bigger than them, that they played a valuable part in. And so with all of that being together right there, and the district governors, hey, I'm giving you this position right here. I'm giving you this land to take care of. But for 1 month, you got to come back and take care of this household. Take care of my household and this part of our land, right? You're going to take care of this part right here. But the other 11 months, you do what you need to do. But this is your month. So he's showing how to cycle that thing around. Everybody's playing a part. Everybody matters. It's a beautiful thing. And that's how he set up. And he talks about how they were living in peace. And there was another reason why they lived in peace, but that was the big reason why they lived in peace, because of how he set things up. And everybody was on one accord. I think that's all we're going to talk about for tonight. I want to go more, but that's going to be even longer. I'm getting excited talking about this. But I absolutely appreciate y'all. You got anything you want?
My daughter, she used to work at Noodles and Company, and they had this thing called Noodler of the Month.
Noodler.
And so she got selected for Noodler of the Month. Mm-hmm. So for that whole month, she got special attention while working there. Mm-hmm. And again, that's kind of the same principle here, where, that 1 month, those governors have to take care of the people. Yeah. And, she's gone on and have a college degree and working and everything, but she still remembers when she was selected in high school as Noodler of the Month, because she was made to feel as if she mattered, if she accomplished something, mm-hmm. and that always is important. It's the same wisdom Solomon is doing here as well. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna leave you with this one scripture, and this is a scripture that and it hit me with this one scripture right here, and this is what I don't want us to be guilty of. Okay, Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. That's the reason why we got to read this. There's so much in here for us that we can grow from, that we can build on, that we can learn from, that makes us that much better. We got to read this word, and you'd be surprised how much you learn. Some basic Bible principles that can make a big difference in our life. Go ahead and read that thing. I promise you, it's going to be all good for you. All right? So we out of here. With that being said, as I always tell you, pray, plan, prepare, proceed. Go make it do what it do. Love you. Thank you. Love you.
Appreciate you. See you next week, 6:30.